welcome to yet another Quinntopia review of one of the locomotives in my N-gauge fleet. Today I'll be reviewing a locomotive from Piko. Piko, I don't know if it's famous, I don't even know if it's infamous, but Piko is a brand originally born out of East Germany and has since done quite well in the value priced range in N-gauge, and in the past several years has made a nice little push into they've done a nice job in value priced locomotives in HO, and in the past several years has pushed into N-gauge, particularly in the French market, where they really released quite a few French locomotives, this being one of them. I have a review of the BB25600 Cybic locomotives as well on my blog. And this one is a new recent acquisition for me. I really like these. These locomotives are ubiquitous across France. This is the BB25600 class. I'm not really sure if it's technically a real class. According to Wikipedia, which we all know is the source of all truth these days, this is a subclass of the BB25000 class. BB means it has two axles, and it is different from the 25,000 class or 25,500 class in that the cabs are actually a bit longer, and it has a one single large vent rather than multiple smaller ones. Looks actually a little bit more streamlined, but I also like the chunkier versions of the older ones as well. So let's actually take it out and take a look at this locomotive from Piko, French locomotive from former East German company. Here it is. And again, nice packaging, plastic molded shell to keep it safe and protected. Go ahead and reach in very gingerly and attempt to extract it from its plastic formed seating. A little bit tight, be gentle when you pull it out, don't want to snap anything off. I'll set it down here. There's no, well, maybe there are, and maybe I just haven't discovered it yet. This is the NEM651 dummy plug, or whatever you want to call it. I've since removed it and have replaced it with a traditional or a real Dcc decoder. Very simple installation. It's just to swap this out with the decoder, and you get what you get a very nice, easy conversion to Dcc. Let's take a look at this box and see if there's any other goodies in here. Don't think there is, other than, no, there's not. There is a manual, a warranty, some of the basic stuff that you expect to see in packaging these days. Quite an extensive manual. Pop this guy open, see what we see here. Other than lots of warnings of things not to do with your locomotive. Don't do this, don't do that. And looks like it's in just about every language imaginable. So Piko definitely covered their bases. Now, I'm calling them Piko. Like with Kato and Kato, I don't know what the correct pronunciation of it is. I'm going to call it Piko. If it's Piko, if it's Pika, if it's blah, 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 I don't know how to say it. We're just going to go with Piko for now. Okay, sorry again. My apologies to pronunciation teachers around the world for butchering the wonderful brand of Piko with my poor translation. So back to the model. So here she is. The paint scheme is okay. If you look closely, it's a little bit fuzzy in some spots, which I'm not that thrilled with. Let's see if we get the camera to focus here. It's a little bit fuzzy there, a little bit fuzzy here. Kind of droops down a little bit right here at this part. Not major problems, but not probably as fine as some of the other manufacturers these days have raised our expectations to. Now, the one thing I like about this locomotive is one of the reasons I purchased it is in the Ile-de-France livery, which is pretty cool, and obviously it's one of those things that if you're in the Paris region, you're going to see this color scheme and this livery a lot. Not sure how many of these locomotives are actually pulling the local Ile-de-France, which is the regional railway, passenger commuter railway for the Paris region. Not sure how many of these are actually being pulled by locomotives these days, as most of them have gone to EMUs rather than pulled stock. So these may be a vanishing breed. But I do like the red, white, and blue livery, and it does look sharp. The big challenge is going to be for me, and there's a post on this on my blog, is finding the appropriate rolling stock for this locomotive to pull. Hopefully somebody will come out with something soon. To install the DCC decoder, it's a little bit tricky, as I recall, and I won't do it now because it was tricky, and I don't want to damage anything just to show it again. But you have to remove this little cover here. It snaps off. Be gentle with it. There's a little screw which will loosen the body shell, and then I think you're able to basically pry the shell off the chassis. So remove this, remove the screw underneath it. There's a little screw there, and then remove the plastic shell, and you should be able to then very simply replace your little plug with a real decoder, and you're good to go. And now we'll start with the sound check for this Piko electric locomotive. Let's see what it does at 10 volts, and then we'll move it up to 15. Surprising. It's surprisingly loud. I didn't expect that to be as high. Interesting. And now it's time for my completely arbitrary, unofficial, amateurish report card on the Piko BB25600 class locomotive in the Ile-de-France livery. Here we go. So, standard report card, appearance, performance, conversion to DCC, cost, and any bonus points, and then a total score. So how does it rank? Well, on appearance, it looks great, the casting looks nice, but it's not perfect. As I pointed out earlier, there's a little bit of fuzziness in the paint, a little bit of the lines look like they're not quite straight, so it's going to get a 4. Not bad, but not great. In terms of performance, well, you heard how loud this thing is. I don't think that really affects its performance, but I do think that sort of indicates something that just isn't quite up to state of the art with the much quieter locomotives produced by other manufacturers. So it's going to get a 4 on performance. Conversion. Wisely, Piko uses the standard NEM651 DCC chip to convert this to DCC. So that part is relatively simple and standard, but getting to it is a little bit of a hassle. I showed you, or at least explained to you, that you have to remove several parts, unscrew things, and then you can take off the body to get to the motor. So it's getting a 4, not a 5. In terms of cost, this is definitely a little bit higher, probably due to the fact that it's produced for the much smaller French market than the typically larger German and other markets. So it's going to get a 4 there. So no bonus points, so a total score of 16 out of 4 equals a total score of 4 out of 5. Certainly good, nothing to be embarrassed about, but not as great as some other releases have been made recently. That's it for this review of the Piko Ile-de-France liveried BB25600. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and please feel free to visit my blog, leave a comment, subscribe, or don't do any of those things, but just enjoy the video or cringe at the video, my terrible pronunciation, and amateurish interest in model trains. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your train.